we're going to learn about a really interesting space on the south edge of downtown South Bend that literally, as we speak, is being transformed from an empty lot to an urban oasis. So we're with Rachel Mospan right now, and she's going to share a little bit about what's happening here at this site. And Rachel, we are kind of standing between two buildings. We're going to talk about those, but tell us where you are right now. Where are we standing?
Yep. So we are here on the future site of the Milkweed Commons Pocket Park. It's about a third of an acre, a vacant lot, and between two buildings, like you said. 520 South Michigan is the address, and we are just south of Monroe on South Michigan in downtown South Bend.
Yeah, kind of like just near the post office, actually, if folks know where that is. So I mentioned the two buildings, as you did as well, and they're kind of beautiful brick buildings. First, tell me about those.
Yep. So I am a co-owner of Herstoric Development. We are doing an entire block development here on South Michigan, so 4 parcels in total. The two buildings are historic mixed-use buildings. They were built in the 1920s. Both have been vacant for decades. And so we're in the process of renovating those buildings, beginning with the Monarch building, which is going to house a coffee shop on the first floor, an event space in the back, and 4 residential units upstairs. The Hope building will be next, and that will be food-centric. So we'll have a fresh foods mart and also some prepared food vendors, a commercial kitchen with residential on the second floor as well.
And in between is kind of this empty vacant lot, which was kind of an open slate for you. So
Exactly.
Tell us about that.
Exactly. So when we got the buildings, we knew we really also wanted to maintain control of the vacant lot. There's a lot of development happening in this area. A lot of new construction is on the way, and we knew we wanted to maintain a green space. So we were able to purchase this lot. It's a third of an acre in between the two buildings, the site of formerly demolished buildings, and has just been neglected for decades. So we are installing a pocket park. So it'll be a community green space, lots of amenities for the community, native plantings, pathways, we'll have seating, eventually a public restroom, just trying to make a space that really works together with the buildings to provide an entire package for the neighborhood.
And I think when I was chatting with you about this plan a while back, even though this is known as Monroe Park, there's really no park here, but this will serve as a community park, not just for the buildings,
Exactly.
but for the whole neighborhood.
Yep,
right?
It'll be open to the community, and we're really designing the amenities that we put in the park based on feedback from the residents. The Monroe Park neighborhood has seen a lot of disinvestment over the years, but there are longtime residents who have really invested in the community themselves, and this park is for them.
And what's great about today is that you've got a whole bunch of volunteers getting ready to show up to do a whole bunch of planning. So how about if I touch base with you in a little bit, and volunteers can assemble, and we'll see what's going on.
Sounds great.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks. Rachel, there's like a buzz of activity going on back there. What is happening back there? It looks beautiful.
Yep. So here we are planting one of the garden beds. We have 3 different garden beds that were prepped here on site, and we partnered with Spalding Restoration, a local ecological restoration and landscaping company. And Lindsay is the CEO of Spalding, and she also is on our board for Milkweed Gardens.
And she's hard at work there in the blue shirt, so she's working away.
Yep. So she has selected all of our plants for the site. They are all natives to Indiana, to this area, and meant to support the pollinators that we have here in Indiana. And so she has designed a matrix of plants, flowers and grasses to go into each of the garden beds. So we've got the team putting all of the plants into place according to her plan.
Her plan. And you mentioned that they're all native, and that
Yes.
will support the pollinators. And basically, I think you mentioned earlier, this site for this is like Milkweed Gardens, right? Milkweed Gardens. And there's kind of a metaphor there for the
Yes.
space and the monarch, right?
Exactly. So the first building that we purchased on this block is the Monarch Printing Co. former headquarters when it was built in the 1920s, and we are keeping that name, so it's the Monarch Building. And when we were choosing how to name this block and create this destination, we chose the name Milkweed because milkweed is the primary nutrient for the monarch butterfly, and we want this block to serve as a metaphorical nutrient for the neighborhood.
I also like it because when I think about monarch butterflies and their life cycle, and they metamorphosize, right, from like this little kind of lowly caterpillar to this amazing winged insect, it's kind of like what's happening here, right? You're emerging a beautiful space out of, literally, as you said, there was a building that was demolished right here where we're standing.
Exactly.
So there's a beautiful gravel path that winds through here, which is really lovely. And you mentioned earlier that other amenities in this pocket park are in your vision. What might those be?
So we will have outdoor seating here. We will have a pad for music, live entertainment to be enjoyed here. We'll have the lawn area for picnicking. In the long term, we also are planning to build a public restroom on the site. That's something that doesn't really exist in this area, and it's really needed. We'll have some shade structures. We'll have signage as well, educational signage about what we've done here, so that anybody who comes and is curious about what we did, why we did it, and maybe wants to take a piece of it home with them or into their own community would be empowered to do that.
Take the idea and replicate it elsewhere, right? Yeah, that's really great. The volunteers that are here and the other partners, who are some of these folks, and how'd they find out about it? And
so we have a number of community partners. So Shirley Hines Land Trust has been an early partner with us. They are a land trust in the northern Indiana area. They have been a strong partner providing expertise, manpower, and we also have partnered with Wild Ones. We've gotten input from their organization and volunteer support as well. We've been working closely with the City of South Bend in a number of areas. Many departments there have been involved, but in particular for today, we partnered with the team that is executing the USDA tree canopy grant for the city, and so all of the green material here today, the plants, the trees, the shrubs, came through the tree canopy grant.
And we should mention that tree canopy grant is kind of a city initiative to expand literally the number of trees in South Bend for a lot of reasons. Cooling, air quality, better property values, and just green space. And so basically you're saying this project is part of that overall project.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Wonderful.
And they were instrumental in choosing what trees came in here. So there's a logic behind each of the species to encourage biodiversity, to provide habitats for different types of animals. Moths, one of the species of trees, supports like a dozen different moth species.
Right.
So,
and that's really important, that the native trees are really kind of incubators for so many different pollinators, which is great that you focused on natives. Okay, great. Well, I'm going to just kind of go check out the volunteers here, and maybe I'll catch up with Lindsay as well, and then I'll touch base with you in a minute or two.
Okay, great.
Right, thanks. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and we've caught up with Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, how are you?
Can you tell me everything that's like, you're like acting as the crew leader kind of here today for all the volunteers.
Yes.
But Rachel told me you were the one that selected all the plants, and they're all native, which is wonderful. So tell me what in general is being planted and how you selected them.
Absolutely. So my focus with these garden spaces was everything is perennial. It's going to come back year to year because that's going to make a healthier habitat. Also, everything that I created this matrix, so to say, so that we have blooms all the way from May through October.
Nice.
So you've got something for the early season pollinators all the way through to the late season pollinators.
And also for the human visitors.
Absolutely,
right?
make it beautiful for
All the
everybody,
time, right.
beneficial for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think a succession of blooms is going to be enjoyed by everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what, like right now I see all these like little grassy things going
Yes.
in. What are those?
Yes. So these are, it's a native sedge. There are a lot of native sedges. I love using sedges as a ground cover between the flowers. It makes maintenance a lot easier, less weed pressure, and they will just fill in and create this green carpet between the flower interest.
Okay,
so this is Carex.
Wonderful. Okay,
Yes.
great. And there's some shrubs and
There
some
are.
trees as well. So what kinds of shrubs and trees did you plant?
So in this bed specifically, there is black chokeberry, one of my favorite lower growing shrubs, maybe 4 to 6 feet tall. It turns bright red in the fall,
I love it
which
in
is
the
why I
fall,
love
yeah.
it. I tell people it's an amazing native instead of burning bush,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you still get that color.
Burning bush, reminder,
Yes,
not native,
not native.
and invasive.
Exactly.
So not a great one to have in
Yes.
your landscape. Good, but this is a great replacement.
This is an amazing replacement. It has spring flowers. It even has berries in the summer for the birds. And then it's got that bright color for the humans to enjoy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it looks like there's going to be some taller trees as well, right?
Yeah, so the lot also has red buds. It's got a serviceberry right behind us. Again, an amazing one for the birds and the berries. We even put a hackberry in there because they are super beneficial for moths in supporting it, and people tend to overlook that as a native tree.
Yeah. And
Everything.
that'll provide a lot of shade because that'll
Yes.
get much
Yes,
taller.
right now there's not a lot of shade here, so
Yeah,
that we
right.
really wanted to create some canopy. And the nice thing about all these native shrubs and trees are they are drought tolerant. They can handle this poor soil because this is an empty lot, and we have some harsh conditions here that they need
conditions.
to endure.
Yeah, great. Well, it's so great that you help figure out the plants. You're helping to coordinate the volunteers. Spalding Restoration does amazing work. So
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting this community project.
I've really appreciated being a part of it. It means a lot.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So now I'm with Zach, and Zach, I've seen like people running around with cameras. You've got a camera. IU South Bend is actually a partner in this project in many levels. And tell me specifically what's going on with all the filming.
Yeah. So the Center for Sustainable Future is collaborating with the city in their efforts to expand the urban tree canopy through this grant. And so our partnership is kind of twofold. We are over a few years documenting and measuring the environmental impact of expanding an urban tree canopy, but also the social impacts. And I'm, as a sociologist, very interested in that. And so I'm teaching a class this semester. The class is called Film, Society, and the Environment. And students in this class are not only working on their own independent projects, thinking about how we interact with nature, but also collaboratively documenting with some of the organizations, including Herstoric Development, but also the South Bend Greenway Conservancy and Lang Lab and a few others, these different organizations that are partnering with the city to plant trees, change their landscaping, thinking about urban change, social change, environmental consciousness, and all of this. So how do we adapt to the future, preserving features of the past, but also thinking about development in a new way,
That's awesome.
Balancing social, environmental, cultural, and economic interests.
So a whole aspect to this project beyond like tangible stuff that you see here, which I think is amazing.
That's right.
Great. And I'm so excited because we're in this segment, we're using some of the footage that you and your students have captured, which I think is great fun.
Yeah, so over the semester I've sent students out to different events like this, tree planting and landscaping today. Throughout the rest of the season we'll be practicing our camera work, our film work. A lot of us are amateurs at this, but we know that good storytelling, good documenting can really convey, especially across the city, ways in which we're all partnering, collaborating, and so we're hoping to tell some stories through our cameras.
And making the world a better place, right?
Yeah, a little bit of time.
That's
right.
wonderful. Thanks, Zach. I'm going to now touch base with Rachel, who's going to, I think, hopefully tell a little bit more about the amazing partners that are going on here. But thank you for doing your part with the students. It's wonderful work.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's been
so
great.
much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Rachel, in addition to Spalding Restoration, which is doing lots of support work here, there's other partners like universities that you've gotten involved?
That's right. So IUSB has been a partner. We had a summer intern from IUSB. She helped with site planning, drainage testing, and some of the educational signage that will go in here. She
Great.
drafted the content for that. So she was great to have on the team. And we also had a group of volunteers from Notre Dame come out a few weeks ago, and they helped spread all this limestone that you see. It was a very labor intensive job. We were happy to have their help. That was Siegfried Hall from Notre Dame. And then we also have some very local support. So we're in Monroe Park. The Monroe Park Neighborhood Association has been a great partner. We've had their tool trailer on site for each of our work days, full of outdoor yard work tools,
Wonderful.
everything that you
Yeah.
could need.
Yeah.
And then we also have partnered with Dismas House. So they are right across the alley from here, and we've hired them to do maintenance and cleanup and keep an eye on the site, so that, you know, as we're getting it built out, it stays looking nice.
That's wonderful. And obviously getting folks in the neighborhood involved helps establish buy-in, and they feel like they have an ownership in the site.
Exactly. We're
really
constantly talking to residents of the neighborhood to determine what do they want to see here, because that's what we want to put in.
Good point. Good point. So let's look ahead maybe 5 years from now. And what do you see here?
You know, I hope it'll all be green.
Yep.
Lots of colorful flowers to enjoy. I hope people come here, enjoy it day and night, come for live entertainment, come to have a picnic. We're hoping to have little mini pop-up festivals and food trucks and all types of events like that for the community to happen here.
And of course, then both buildings, Monarch and Hope, will have the amenities that you mentioned as well. So literally taking a rough space and turning it into a beautiful space is such a great vision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, congratulations on even getting this far, because it looks fantastic, and it's going to be fun to follow Milkweed Gardens as it continues to grow. And remember, you can find your own outdoor elements when you visit area parks and nature centers and pocket parks like this one. Thanks so much, Rachel.
Thank you.